Um, yeah, we started the Mishnah. Yeah, we're going to start from the first Gemara. 165b, and we're going to try to get a daf and a half in today, Bez Hashem. Okay, currency time. And we'll finally see stories of tricksters with documents. So we'll realize how important it really is. Okay, so we had this Mishnah that told us what the minimal amount of zuzin is and all these things. Let's go from that first Gemara again. We'll go quickly, don't worry. Tana Rabbanan, the Brisa taught us Amar Kesef. If it says Kesef, so what's Kesef? Silver. Ein pachos mi dinner Kesef. So you have to. It's no less than a dinner of Kesef. I have no cheat sheet. Okay. So no less than a dinner of Kesef. Kesef dinarim. So now Kesef dinarim, you have silver dinner coins, or okay, take two. 165b. Let's try again. So we had this brisa. So now, second line of the Gemara. Whether you say kesef dinarin or b'dinarin kesef, ein pakos mishnei dinarim. The most minimal amount is 2 dinari kesef, and that's what you owe the person. Now, here where it gets tricky. Kesef b'dinarim. You want silver b'dinarim, with dinarim. So now, how much do you owe? Ein pachos mi b'shnei dinari zahav. Shnei dinarin zahav. When you say kesef b'dinarim, silver with dinarin, so you're going to have to pay no less than 2 dinari of zahav. Meaning, you want the amount of silver that's worth a certain amount of dinarim, 2 dinarim, and therefore you owe the guy gold. We're going to see why you have to owe him gold and not silver. But ein pagos mishnei dinarin dahav kesef. Dahav kesef. Yeah. Amar mar kesef ein pagos mid dinar kesef. You just say kesef, you owe him a minimal amount, a dinar of kesef. So hold on. You said silver. How did you get from silver equaling 1 dinar worth? Maybe it means less. Maybe it means more. He just said, I want silver. Kesef. I owe you kesef. What's kesef? Silver. How much silver? A dinar. How'd you get a dinar? The ema naskha. Maybe it just means like a piece of silver, like a piece of metal, a piece of naskha is a board. I don't know the.
Piece of silver.
A what? A bar. That's the word I want. A bar. The ema, a bar of silver. Yeah. Amar Rabbi Elazar, the kasav bei matbeya. It says a coin. It doesn't say a bar. It says a coin. Okay, so now how'd you get a currency of a dinar? Imagine a dinar being, I don't know. In Israel, you have a shekel. Less than a shekel is agurot. You have, these 10 agurot coins. So it's a shekel, and maybe it's agurot. The ema priti. Priti is 192 prutos in a zuz. So maybe it means priti. Maybe it just means the a minimal amount. It's very small. It's like pennies, maybe less. Amarav papa ba'asra de lo sagi priti de kaspa. We're talking about a place where it's I guess they don't have enough. They don't have enough of these little coins, to add up to silver. So yeah. Okay. So Tanarabana. Now, dahav, if you say gold, right, the dalet and the zayin are often interchangeable. So imagine the dahav was a zahav. Yeah. So Aramaic dalet, Hebrew zayin. Okay. Dahav ein pakos mi dinar zahav. You have to give a dinar of gold. Dahav dinarin, vidinarin dahav. If you have a silver amount of dinarin or a dinarin amount of silver, of gold, sorry, ein pachos mishnei dinarim dahav. You have to give no less than 2 dinarin of gold, 2 golden coins, 2 dinar gold coins. Now, dahav bid dinarim, you want an amount of gold. How much gold? 2 dinarin's worth of gold. So what do you have to do? Ein pachos mi b'shnei dinarin kesef. And you owe him no less than 2 dinarin kesef dahav. So what you owe is the amount of gold that it would take with 2 silver coins. That's how much you owe him. When you say dahav bid dinarin, so you want gold in dinarin. So what does that mean? It means 2 silver dinar coins that are going to equal a gold coin, right? So ein pachos mishnei dinarin kesef dahav. So it's interesting. When you say the same phraseology, kesef b'dinarim, you owe the guy gold. When you say gold b'dinarim, you owe the guy silver. So says the the Gemara, Amar Mar, hold on. Dahav ein pachos me. Okay, so one second. So before we get there, when you say gold, it's ein pachos medinar dahav. Ein manascha maybe means a bar of gold. Amar Abelazar dekasav matbeya. We're talking about where it says a coin. That's why I have to give him a golden coin, not just a golden bar. The ema priti, maybe how'd you get a dinner? How'd you get a shekel? Maybe it means agurot. Maybe it means priti, which is much smaller. Say no, priti didavalo of the inchi. The people don't usually make from all these little tiny gold coins a piece of gold. That's not common. Okay, so now zahav bidinarin, you have gold. You want how much gold do you want? Dinarin amount of gold. So what do you do? Halacha is ein pachos mi b'shnei dinarin kesef. You have to give 2 silver coins that are going to add up to a piece of gold. Ein pachos mi b'shnei dinarin kesef zahav. Okay, so why don't you say the same thing in the reverse case? Oh no, not yet. Okay, let's see. Ve'ema dahava. Ve'ema dahava. Oh, ve'ema dahava. Why are you giving him sorry? Ve'ema dahava. Yeah, ve'ema dahava. What's pricha? Fragments of gold. Oh, fragments, meaning why do you assume when the guy says, I want a dinner, how much gold do I want? I want a dinner's worth of gold. Why don't you give him fragments of gold? Why do you give him silver? So we say, betray dinari dahava. Kamar, he said he wants 2 dinari of gold. So why are you giving him silver? Why not give him gold? So Amar Abaye, Yad Balashtar al Tachtona. The rule is that the owner of the document always has the lower hand. So if dinarim is ambiguous, if you can either choose that he wants the amount of gold and silver or the amount of gold and gold, we always do the minimal amount. If you want more, you got to bring a proof. So yeah, it's called Yad Balashtar. Literally the hand of the owner of the document is ala tachtona. It's always on the bottom, meaning it's always the least amount. So that's why we chose to give him silver. Says the Gemara, different versions here, but should say they changed to ihachi reishanami. the beginning where you said you want, how much silver do you want? You want a dinar's worth of silver. So then why do you give the guy gold? Right? In the beginning case of this brisa, we said, how much silver do you want? Dinar an amount of silver. And what's the answer? You have to give him 2 dinarim of gold that equals silver. Why are you giving him gold? Shouldn't you give him the least amount? So we say, Amar Rav Ashi, big difference to the Gemara. Hopefully it's a big difference to us. Amar Rav Ashi, Reisha the cost of dinare, and Seifa the cost of dinarin. So meaning dinarin are literally just coins. Dinare is possessive. Coins of? So in the possessive, it implies dinare zahav. I think I looked up, they have a footnote over there, why it means that way. From the Meiri, people usually, when they say dinare, something possessive, it usually refers to gold. So therefore, if you say dinarin, just coins, regular coins means silver. So when you want, how much gold do you want? A dinarin amount, you give him silver. The amount of silver coins that are going to amount to a piece of gold. But when you say you want silver, how much silver? Dinare in the possessive, so that has the implication of gold, and therefore you are going to give him gold. Now we're going to bring so now we're going to say, hold on. It's a very, very precise difference you just made. Dinare, dinarin, that makes a big difference. That one letter, nun sofit, is going to get the guy gold instead of silver. So says the Gemara, umenat temra, the shiny ben dinare le dinarin. How do you know? Bring me a proof that there's a difference between dinare and dinarin, right? So now we're going to jump over to Krisus, and we're just going to need one thing at the end. Yes, we're going to go through a whole thing for one thing at the end. So now, the Tana ha'isha shahayu alaha safek chamesh leidos or safek chamesh zivos mevia korban achad ve'ocheles bezvachim ve'ein ashar alaha chova. So we're talking of one of two kinds of women. So we know when a woman, that's why I have my cheat sheet. So we know when a woman gives birth, she has to bring 2 sacrifices. She has to bring an ola, and she has to bring a chatas. The chatas is a bird offering. The ola is a lamb offering. If you cannot afford the lamb, you can bring a bird too. Fine. That's a woman who gives birth. So now, let's say she doesn't know if she actually gave birth to a fetus or not. It was a doubtful situation. Totally, born in the 4th month, the 3rd month, something like that. A total suffix. So she's in a state of doubt. 5 births, and she's not sure if it was a fetus or just wind, so to speak, meaning wasn't halakhically a fetus yet, right? Maybe the baby came out super small, you can't tell, I don't know. But it's a case of doubt. That's one case. Second case is a lady who is a ziva. So very quickly, biblically, not what we do nowadays, biblically, if a woman sees blood, she has to wait 7 days, regardless if they're clean days or not, irrelevant. The second she sees blood, she can bleed for the next 6 days, doesn't matter. After 7 days of the first time she saw blood, the 8th day she goes to the mikveh, she's pure. Then you have 11 days. They're called the in-between days, right? The days of nida. So now, if in those 11 days she sees blood 3 days in a row, she gets a status what we call a zava gedola. A zava gedola, right? A zava ketana if she sees only 1 time or 2 times. 3 consecutive is a zava gedola. Once you see in the 11 days 3 times in a row, now you have to wait 7 clean days, right? Which is what we know to do nowadays. You wait 7 clean days, and then on the 8th day, so you also have to bring, you have to go to the mikvah. However, just like the lady who gave birth has to bring korbanos, you also have to bring korbanos. You bring 2 birds. Now, both of these women, they cannot eat anything holy, kachim, until they have brought their offerings. Okay, so now, what if you're not sure? You totally mixed up your count, and you don't know if you saw 3 days in a row. You don't know when you saw, what you saw. So this happened 5 times over. So whether you're not sure if you gave birth to a fetus 5 times, or whether you're not sure if you when you saw blood, for those, if it's 5 times and 5 times that you're just confused, so you now have to bring a potential of many korbanos. So what do you do? So safek chamesh leidos, safek chamesh zivos, maybe a korban echad. If it's a safek, you bring 1 korban echad, the ocheles bizvachim. Once you bring 1 korban, you are now tehora. She's pure, and she's allowed to eat bizvachim. Ve'ein hashar aleh chova. The rest of her korbanos off the hook. They're not obligatory to bring. Why? Because a lady who brings a korban who's not sure if she has to bring, the kohanim can't eat it. What are they going to do? They're going to have to bury it. No one will be able to eat it, and we don't want to do that. So, therefore, these chatas goes to the grave because we're not sure if it's holy or not. So therefore, Rashi says, with difficulty we allowed even one, but we allow you to bring one korban so you could be tahora, you could be pure, and now you could eat. Fine, that's in a case of doubt. So this is all just to get to. We'll see at the end. Now, how you allow chamesh leidos of vadaos, 5 definite births, or chamesh zivos vadaos, or 5 definite, becoming a zava gedola. So then, what happens now? You have to bring a lot of korbanos, a lot of sacrifices. Mevia korban echad ve'ocheles b'zvachim v'hashar le'achova. You bring one korban, that renders you pure. You can now eat the zvachim. The rest are korbanos you have to bring. It's your obligation. You have to bring it. So now, what happened? Ma'aseh v'amdu kinim b'Yerushalayim b'dinarei zav. Here's what we need. Inflation skyrocketed in Jerusalem, and regular birds now cost dinarei zahav. They cost 2 golden coins, which apparently was like an absurd amount for a bird. Okay, so what happened? So Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, got up and he said, Hamaon hazeh, this house. So im olin halayla achiu b'dinarin. So he said, I'm going to im olin halayla. He's going to stay up all night. I should not sleep tonight. Okay, good. I'm going to stay up all night. I'm not going to go to sleep. Achiu b'dinarin, until it's b'dinarin. Note the difference. They were dinarei zahav, and now he's saying I'm not leaving until he gets to dinarin. That nun sofit is all we need for this whole story. That one letter. What do you see? Dinarei zahav is gold. Dinarin means silver. So nichnas lebesdin. Velimed ha'ish shahayu chamesh leidos vados, or chamesh zivos vados. Yeah. So one second. So nichnas lebezdin. Now, what he entered into the courthouse. He goes to court. The limaid, and he teaches this, and and what happened? There's a woman there. The limaid isha there. I guess what? Well, not yeah. 1 second. It's fine. So the limaid, I guess what? And he taught this to the bezdin. So now what happened was that a lady who either had 5 for sure bursts or 5 for sure zavagdolas, maybe a korban achot, just bring one korban, and she can eat her zvachim, turning the page. And then what happened that day, the amdu kinim bo bayom b'rivasayin, they actually went all the way down to 1/4 of a silver coin. So, but what do you see from here? All we need from here is that dinarei implied gold and dinarin was silver. And that's how in that brisa we can make that difference, make that answer. Okay, so all that cheat sheet for that. Okay, so now it's for myself. It's good. So Taner Rabbanan, we learned earlier that when you have writing on the bottom or writing on the top, so why do you write stuff on the top? If you have it, you're just going to repeat it all at the bottom. We said in case there's some kind of something missing in the bottom, you can learn from the top, right? There's one letter missing at the bottom, you can make it up at the top. Taner Rabbanan, you love me to talk them in Elyon, you learn the bottom from the top, be'os achas. Only if there's one letter missing. Havalo b'shtei osios. If you have 2 letters, a discrepancy of 2 letters between the bottom and the top, then you cannot learn the bottom and the top. When you see Rabbi Steve, you could tell him, Kigon Chanan me Chanani, the Anan me Anani. So now the name Chanan, so that has a ches, a nun, and a nun sofit. Now that yud, so if it says Chanan at the bottom and Chanani at the top, so then you could learn that his name was really Chanani, or Anan me Anani. But if it was Anan at the bottom, Anani at the top. You see that, they left out a letter. They made a mistake. They left out a letter, but there's no reason to invalidate the document. Fine. Ma yishna shtei osios delo. Why can't you have a discrepancy of two letters? Dilma misrami shem ben arba osios. You'll get somebody that has a name, a four-letter name. V'havale palga deshmei. So what's going to happen? You're worried you're going to have a guy with a four-letter name, and it's going to say only two letters at the bottom, and therefore it's going to be a different person because maybe it's two different names. Some people have four-letter names, some people have two-letter names. So that's way too much of a discrepancy. So now, right. So now says the Gemara, "Ihachi os achas nami." I mean, os achas nami. Even one letter. Dimma misrami shem ben shteyos. There's a havale palge. Maybe you have a guy that has a two-letter name, and someone else has a one-letter name, and therefore even one letter should be invalid because it might be talking about different people. So it says the Gemara, no, like this. Ela shtei osios hainu taima dimma misrami shem ben shalosh osios v'havale ruba deshma. The reason why you have two letters is as follows. You really had a guy with a three-letter name, right? The bottom of the document only mentions one letter, right? We assume that a scribe is not going to omit most of a guy's name. So when you have three letters, a three-letter name, if two are omitted, so then that is too much of a discrepancy. It looks too funny. Why would a scribe omit most of a guy's name? So that's because of that concern, we don't learn from the top two letters to the bottom. But one letter, I mean, I guess one letter, you'll never have most of his name omitted. And most will have half of his name omitted. That, a scribe can make a mistake of one letter. That's normal, to make a mistake of one letter. To make a mistake and cut out most of a guy's name, that a person wouldn't do. If that happens, it looks funny, it looks fishy, and therefore we invalidate such a document. So that's why if you want to ever, you repeat the bottom. If there's one letter missing, that's fine. Two letters missing, we're worried about this kind of situation. Okay. Amar of Papa. So now, more discrepancies, bottom and top. Pshitale, so safal milamala v'kafal milamata. Safal is a kind of bucket, right? That costs less than a kafal is a kind of cloak, like kipul to fold over, right? So a couple is a cloak. Okay. So now, you have on the top, it says that Reuben owes Shimon, a bucket. Let's say a negovasser cup, whatever, a hand washing cup or whatever. The kafa milamata. The bottom it tells you he owes him I don't know what's a fancy suit nowadays. I don't know. What's a fancy suit? Armani tuxedo. Okay. On the bottom it says some kind of tuxedo that he owes him. So says the Gemara, Hakol holech achar atachton. Okay, you go after the bottom because the bottom we assume is where the ikr is. The primary is on the bottom. We're not gonna lose the guy's whole tuxedo that he's owed. If it says on the bottom tuxedo, that's what we go with. So we say Bayir of Papa. What if the opposite happened? The top it said kafal milamata, tuxedo on the top, v'safal or some kind of cloak on the top, v'safal milamata, and a bucket on the bottom. What's the halacha? Now, if you see your kuf on the page, you see that it's comprised of two parts, right? The part that's curved, and then that long leg, right? The leg goes below the curved part, right? So now, maybe you're worried about the following. A fly came and up to the ink. It pushed up that leg, and it cut off the bottom, and it's going to look like a samach now. So if you have kafal milamala, right, v'safal milamata, what happened? The bottom, it became safal because a fly came and pushed up that kuf a little bit higher up, and that's how it became safal. So are you worried for that? Or you're not really worried for that, and really the bottom is the ikr, it's safal. And that we say teku. We don't know, and therefore it's going to be the minimal amount until you prove otherwise. But you see, we're worried, even a fly. Okay, here we go. Now, discrepancies in a document continue. 600. Oh no, we still need the cheat sheet. 600. I just remembered. 600. He doesn't say what. 600 what? Gold coins, silver coins. How much currency? Vizuza. and 1 zuz. So how much is that? Sholcha Rav Sharvi kamei de Abaye. Rav Sharvi sent to Abaye shis meya istiri. So now an istiri is equals a sela. A sela is 4 zuz. So when he said 600, does he mean 600 istiri? Is that what he means? And 1 zuz. So that's going to equal 6, 12, 18, 2400, 2401 zuz. O Dilma Shismeya Priti. Priti, there's 192 pritis in 1 zuz. So 600 pritis is going to be 192 zuz. 600 pritis is only going to be like 3 or 4 zuz, because there's 192 priti in 1 zuz. So do the math. It's going to be close to 3 and something, 3 and change, and then you add vizuza, and it'll be 4. So that's a huge difference. 2401 zuz or 5, 6 zuz, right? It's a big difference. Amarle, so dal priti. Remove priti as a possibility, because people don't write like that. Delo kasi bishtara de asuchi maskin lechu. They don't write like 600 priti. That's not common. You add up the priti. You don't say 600 pennies. You say $6, right? You don't. That's not how people count things up. Umishavi lehu zuzi. They don't count it up, and then rather they don't do that. They count it up and add it up to a zuz. So my amris shismeya istri v'zuzah. Maybe say it should be 600 istries. That's going to get us to 2400 zuz. It's going to be an istri is the same as a sela. A sela is 4 zuz. Says the Gemara, no. Back to the default rule. Yad bal hashtar ala tachtona. You go with a minimal amount. In this case, 600 is vague. It's going to be 600 zuz, plain old zuz. And you think the guy owes you more money than that, and you have to bring a proof. But yad bal hashtar is ala, the guy who owns the shtar, meaning the one who's collecting the money, we always give him the minimal amount until he can prove more. You want to take more money out, you got to bring a proof. Okay, now, more ways, get into the mind of a forger to make more rules against forgery. Hopefully we'll get to we should get there, to the stories today. Amar Abaye, Haiman debayla machui chasimas yadeh. So you're being asked to confirm your signature. Your signature, someone else's signature, you know this guy's signature. So let's say you want to confirm your own signature. They say it says Gleizer on the shtar. Who's Gleizer? So they come to me and say, listen, I'll write down my handwriting, right? And now you compare it to the other document. So says Abaye, don't write. You want to show your signature in the court of law? Lo lachve besof megilta. Do not write your name on this piece of paper at the end of the line. What's going to happen? Someone's going to find it. Someone's going to find it. The cost of the Masik Bezuzi. He's going to say, yeah, this guy owes me money. And it's going to have a signature on it. Meaning, you have the signature of the borrower. Abaye, so, Gleizer owes me $1,000. And it's signed by Gleizer. Perfect. Right in the beginning of the line, and therefore you can avoid that. Okay. Vitnan and the Mishnah says, okay, coming up, Hotzi alav ksav yado shu chayev lo. Oh, and a proof for this is, as long as you pull out a document that says some guy owes you money and it has his name on it, what happens? You can be gova minachasim b'nei chorin. Such a document you can collect from his property that has no lien on it. So, meaning if it has the borrower's own name on it, and the lender pulls out that document, he can collect from his from the property that has no lien on it. Right? It doesn't have witnesses on it or anything. Just has the guy's own name. That's enough to collect already from some of his property. So therefore, don't do that. Okay. So, Hahu Bezvina. Okay, so now there was a Jewish tax collector. He was appointed to collect the taxes. So he said, Hahu Bezvina, the Asla Kamade Abaye. He came in front of Abaye. Amar le, listen, he tells Abaye, Nechzili Mar Chasimas Yadeh, show me your signature. Because when it happens now, when the yeshiva bacharim come, we don't want them to pay taxes because they have no money. Right? Classic yeshiva bachar's problem. So got to buy the cheaper pizza than the more expensive pizza. I came to Israel for the first time when I was married, and I bought pizza. Someone asked me, "Where'd you get pizza?" I said, "I got it from over there." You got from where it's there? It was like, that's a 10 shekel a slice. Here it's 8 shekel a slice. I was like, wow. It gave me an insight into the Bachrums. Yeah. Okay. So he said, show me your signature, because when the Bachram are going to come from yeshiva and we want to get them out of paying taxes, I need your signature. I need the rabbi's signature, the Rosh Yeshiva's signature to. So now, show me your signature now, so that when it comes later, I'll recognize it, and therefore we're good to go. So now, Amrle nextly marchasimas yade. So now, dechi asa rabbanon, dechi asa rabbanon. Yeah. So that when they come, we can get them out of taxes. Yeah. Okay, fine. So now, machvulei. I was like, I stop too early. Where does it stop? Let me see a second. All right. Oh, Mavarna Lublamasa. Oh, okay, no, it's the end of the story. Oh, okay, okay, fine. Yeah. So that's how he told him. So we're still in the middle of the story. So now what happened? He said, show me your signature. So nextly, Mark Hasim is yadid. So now, Techiyasa Rabbanan, we can get him out of it. Okay. So Machvule, so Machvule, as he was showing him his signature, Machvule Ma'avarna Lahu, below Machzas, that when they come, they can get out of paying taxes. So now, Achvule Bereish Megilta. Abai starts signing his name at the top of the document. And now this guy, this tax collector, Havi Kanogid Bey, he started to pull on the document so that Abai's signature would be lower down. Once Abai's signature is lower down on the document, now he has room to sign whatever he wants.
He was stretching it up.
Yeah, he was stretching it, right? He was stretching it down. So therefore, so Abai tells him, Amrle, he kept the school, and he said, Kvar kadmuchu rabbanan. The rabbanan already preceded you. They already told me to write on the top, because any document that's not going to be like that, it's going to be dangerous. So you're trying to get me to write in the middle. I know your shtick already, and therefore I'm going to write it at the top. Okay. So now Abai is going to be the main personality over here. Amar Abaye. So mitlat ve'ad eser lo lichtov besof shita. So if you have a number that you owe from 3 to 10, don't write it at the end of a line, because the guy might come and just write more numbers in the beginning, and you owe him more money. So if you owe somebody 3 zuz, so write it the 3 at the beginning of the line. So you can't put any numbers beforehand. But if you're at the end of the line, you can put a bunch of numbers beforehand. So Amar Abaye mitlat ad eser lo lichtov besof shita dilma mezayah v'kasav. Okay. Ve'i Isramile, and if this happens to you, if you did write a number at the end of a line, what should you do? Rewrite that number numerous times in the document. Right? Let's say you paid the sofer to do it already, and he's writing you, and he wrote the number that is owed, 5 zuz at the end of a line, leaving room for people to forge it. Rewrite the number that you owe numerous times in the document, obviously not at the beginning of a line, and therefore we'll know. Meaning this is just to avoid the situation from happening. So repeat this 2 or 3 times. It's going to be impossible that that at some point it's not going to be in the middle of a line and not at the end, and therefore if it's in the middle of a line, you'll have some words before and some words after. It'll avoid forgery. So even though you did it one time, you could fix it. You could fix it by doing it by writing it at the numerous times in your document. Therefore, we'll go with the one that's in the middle of the line that we know for sure was not forged. Yeah. Okay. Hahu dahavik sivbe tilta bipardisa. A guy owes somebody. He owes or he's selling? Oh, so a guy, right? It says, I sold somebody a third of a pardisa. of an orchard, right?
Right.
Of an orchard. Okay. So now, what happened? He went, and this guy who wants more money, Azal, I mean the buyer went, Machake legage the base. So this is where you see how tricksters go. It says a third bit pardisa, right? A third of the orchard. He went to the top of the base, Vikare, and the bottom of the base, and erased it. And all you have left is a vav. You took away the bottom and top of the base, left with a vav, which means what? I sold you 3 of something and the orchard.
Third of the garden.
Right. So it says now tilta vipardesa viz and the orchard. So I told you a third of it, a third of your garden. It's interesting why it automatically means garden. Like, where did garden come from? I don't know. I told you a third of something.
Third of something, right.
I know it's a garden. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Fine, I don't know. We assume it's a third of a garden and the orchard, meaning now that gets the whole orchard. So that's what we care about, that he's getting the whole orchard now. So now, the kari vishavi vipardesa, he made into the word vipardesa. So now, also the comment Abaye, he came to Abaye, and Amar le Abaye says, so my time of rabach alma lahayvav. So now look what happened. If you look at the word, by erasing the top and the bottom of the base, the vav is too much distance. You already saw the ending. There's too much distance between the vav and the rest of the world. You left too much space. So kafte, either Abaye tied him up, or Abaye threatened him with lashes to scare him. The Odi, and the guy admitted that he's a forger. So now, Hahuda Kasav Bey, similar kind of story. A guy wrote that Menas Ruven v'Shimon Ache, that I bought the land of Reuven and Shimon, the brothers. I bought their portion of the land. Now, there was a third brother whose name was Achi also. So Achi means brothers. It also was the name of the third brother. What do you know? So, Habeluhu Acha Deshmei Ache. They had a third brother named Ache. So what happened? Azal Kasabei Vav. The guy wrote in a Vav. Now, in this case, right, he's Vishavya V'Ache. So in the document, it says Reuven to Shimon Ache. So now you put a Vav there. So now there's not so much room between, between, I guess, Shimon and V'Ache. Also, my time when you squish that vav in, I mean, a normal space in the document now is half of that space is filled with a vav. You really smushed it in. Kulei. So kafte, either he tied him up or he threatened to whack him with lashes, and therefore the guy admitted v'odi, and he admitted that he forged this document. This is where you really see the extreme. There's a document signed by Rava and Rav Acha bar Ada. So now, the guy came, also the comment to Rava. So, Amarle, din chasimas yada didihi. So listen, this is my signature. I definitely signed this. The only problem is, mihu comment to Rav Acha bar Ada lo chasimi. Lo chasimli ma'olam. That's my signature, but I never ever signed with the other guy on the document. So Kafte, he tied him up. V'odi, and he admitted that he forged it. So now, but like this, Amrlei Bishma di Yafta, I understand my signature you forged very well. You copied my exact signature. You must have seen it somewhere, and you're a very good scribe, so you copied it beautifully. Now, Elder of Acha bar Ada, the Ross's Yadim, and Rav Acha bar Ada was known, his hand would always shake. How'd you forge that signature? I mean, that's a real skill. So Amar Anche Yade Amitzra. So one of two versions. So back then they used to have these like planks of wood used to cross over the water with. Now they would put up a pole on each side and do like a tightrope kind of thing, a rope on top of them. And when you're just on Sunday, I was at a play place with the kids and I was holding on to one of these things and I fell. So he's on this board, which is slippery, and he's holding on, and the hand is always shaking. So he did that it's like an acrobatic act while having a document in his hand, and he signed with his hand shaking. The Amrila come azarunka v'kasav. Or, yeah, so there's this bottle, like those things in these play places that are like, they roll. They're always rolling over these things. You have to walk on them and not fall. So he stood on a bottle that was, that was rolling basically. And while he stood on it, he forged the document, and therefore it was a shaky signature, the kasav. So this is where you see how far people are going to go for a little bit of money. Okay, let's start. It's a long Mishnah. Let's start. So this is what I got up to. So let's see. Kosvin get leish. So you can write and sign a document for a divorce document for his wife, even though the wife is not with him. Because in general, biblically, nowadays we don't do this. They made many thousand years ago, that we don't divorce a lady right against her will. But biblically, that is what you could do. So therefore, you don't need her consent for the document either. So therefore, you can write it even without the woman being there. So kosin get leish, afal pi she'ein ishto imo. Now, what about a receipt? The hashover leisha afal pi she'ein ba'ila ima. You can write a receipt to the woman that she was divorced, even if the husband's not there, because for the husband it's a merit, it's a schus, meaning he wants to divorce her. So if he wants to divorce her and we give her the receipt of the divorce, that's good for him. And you can merit somebody things even when you're not in front of them. You can't give someone a detriment when you're not in front of them. But zachin lo la'adam, you can merit someone things even when they're not in front of you. So okay, ubilvad, as long as sheyehem makirin, as long as okay, the Gemara doesn't say what this means. That it's recognizable. It says the Gemara Parsha. We'll see that. We'll see what that means in the Gemara. The habal no sein schar. The husband has to pay for the writing of the document, for the writing of the receipt, and we will continue tomorrow with the next page.